This is Group 1's Cross Culture Project, and today we will be discussing the difference between Ukrainian business practices and the business practices in the US. And we each will talk about the opposite countries' business practices and what is different and highlight the main things that are different that we notice. First, we will begin with Ukrainian students talking about what they notice about the US.
In the United States, business culture is built around professionalism, convenience, and trust. What I found most interesting is that Americans value both efficiency and personal connection at the same time. Business meetings are usually formal and organized. They are often held in offices or online platforms like Zoom or Microsoft Teams. So informal discussions over lunch or coffee are also common. Being on time is essential. Arriving late can be viewed as disrespectful or unprofessional. This shows how deeply time management and respect for others' schedules are valued. Another key aspect is honesty and reliability. People are expected to keep both written and verbal commitments. Fulfilling promises and meeting deadlines help to build strong reputations and long-term trust. Integrity is a foundation of business communication. At the same time, personal relationships matter too. Small talk, friend lines, and openness are appreciated because they help build understanding and cooperation. Networking, professional events, and long term partnerships often rely on these interpersonal skills. Everyday business life also reflects convenience and technology. Many people prefer to shop online, use digital payment tools like Apple Pay or Venmo, and enjoy the speed and comfort of contactless transactions. These habits show how modern technology shapes the American approach to business. Finally, cultural and religious respect is part of professional etiquette. Even though business is mostly secular, people try to be sensitive to others' backgrounds and beliefs. Overall, American business culture combines professionalism, honesty, and efficiency with openness and respect towards diversity.
Culture in the United States reflects the country's values of independence, innovation, and efficiency. Americans view business as a space where time and results matter. Punctuality, honesty, and respect are essential in both professional and personal interactions. The US economy is built on active money circulation. People constantly buy, sell, and invest. Regular shopping, online purchases, and special sales help support not only large corporations but also small local businesses. Convenience and speed are highly valued, which is why digital payments such as Apple Pay or Venmo are more popular than cash. Another key element of American business culture is technological progress. Companies actively use modern tools to save time and improve productivity. Decision making is usually quick, and employees are encouraged to express their ideas and take initiative. Cultural diversity also plays a major role. The United States is a multicultural nation where cooperation between people of different backgrounds strengthens business relationships and promotes creativity. Respect and open communication help maintain long term partnerships. Overall, American business culture is driven by efficiency, trust, and innovation. It shows how economic success is supported not only by technology and money flow, but also by human values such as honesty and cooperation.
If I were to give advice to partners on doing business in Ukraine, I would first emphasize the importance of flexibility and adaptability. Business culture in our country is changing rapidly, and what worked yesterday may not be relevant today. It is important to closely follow market trends and be ready to experiment with new approaches. The second piece of advice is to build trust and personal relationships. In Ukraine, knowing your partner and maintaining strong connection is often more important than relying solely on contracts. This applies not only to business partners but also to clients, suppliers, and colleagues. Transparency and honesty in relationships help avoid misunderstandings and create long term stability. I would also recommend not being afraid to launch small projects and experiment with new ideas. Even a small business provides valuable experience in marketing, client relations, and resource management. Being creative and willing to learn through practice helps you develop faster and find effective solutions. It is also important to pay attention to local specifics and legislation. Doing business in Ukraine has its own rules and tax nuances, so before starting a partnership, it is essential to consult with lawyers or experienced entrepreneurs. Finally, I would advise putting quality and customer service first. Reliability, responsiveness, and attentiveness to client needs are highly valued in our country and help business stand out in the market. In short, the key principles are flexibility, trust, experimentation, knowledge of the local context, and high quality service. By following them, business partners can successfully operate in Ukraine and build sustainable relationships.
Doing business in Ukraine can be both exciting and challenging. If you want to build successful partnership here, it's important to understand the local business culture and communication style. First of all, Ukrainians value respect and punctuality. Being on time for meetings shows that you are serious and organized. Even though business life can sometimes be flexible, arriving late without warning is considered unprofessional. Secondly, personal relationships play a big role in business. Trust is built gradually through personal contact, meetings, and honest communication. People prefer to do business with those they know personally, so taking time to get to know your partners really helps. Thirdly, you should be patient with bureaucracy. Some business procedures, such as contracts or licensing, might take longer than expected. It's normal to face some paperwork, but things are improving every year. Next, always try to be transparent and fair. Ukrainians appreciate honest and clear communication about prices, deadlines, and expectations. Corruption is becoming less accepted, and young professionals especially value integrity in business. Finally, adapt to communication styles. Ukrainians are polite but can be quite direct in discussion. Don't be afraid to express your ideas clearly, but always stay respectful and professional. In conclusion, doing business in Ukraine requires respect, patience, and personal connection. If you build trust and act fairly, your partnership will be strong and long lasting.
Today I will be talking about business tips in Ukraine. So for starters, formal meetings are usually held in a professional setting in Ukraine. So very similar to the US. Most people tend to have business meetings in a big hall room or more of a professional setting. Business culture in Ukraine is becoming more modern. So I think that's mostly worldwide based. Everyone's becoming more modern and adapting. So the most common type of payment is card/Apple Pay. I think this is a big move towards everyone in the world. Everyone's becoming more modern and essentially trying to become paperless. I also learned that Ukraine's currency is called the hryvnia. The exchange rate is about 40 to 41 to $1, and that is very dependent on how the economy is doing in the moment. So it can vary from day to day or moment to moment. I also learned that international business is done in dollars. So I think that has to do with most companies tend to use the US currency. So I think Ukraine just tends to follow that aspect. I also learned that Ukraine has similar mail system delivery systems such as the US. So that's good to know that they kind of adopted the same mailing system, and I think that has to do with probably ease for the people that live in Ukraine. Some business tips I also learned that Ukraine usually tends to follow is being respectful and being on time. I learned that they don't really hold you to be on time, but a 5 to 10 minute grace period was talked about. I also learned that communication is very important for Ukrainian people, and I think that tends to follow in any country. That as long as you're willing to communicate, it goes a long way in doing business with each other. And I also learned that don't let emotions get in the way of your decision making. So back to communication is key. So if you are willing to communicate one-on-one, I think that goes a long way, especially doing business transaction. I can only imagine it'd probably be very important between countries and countries like Ukraine trading with the US or vice versa.
This is what I have learned from reading about business in Ukraine through our readings and through all of my other peers' discussion posts. Business in Ukraine, meetings can be in informal and formal settings. Personal trust plays a big role within negotiations. People want to work with someone they know within small businesses. Currency and prices change very easily due to any current economic situations, and international business is done normally with US dollars rather than the Ukrainian currency, which is used more typically within small businesses local. And then tips for businesses continuing with Ukraine. Number 1, to continue adapting newer and more modern business practices and incorporating some more Western practices that increase efficiency. Direct communication and compromise can also be useful tools for negotiation, and not letting emotions from these readings that I had read get in the way of decision making, to use critical thinking through decision making and ask for the opinions of others.